Coming to Stamford to do, missed a step. So we've just come to the George Hotel in Stamford to have a cup of coffee and a little bite to eat before doing some starting some shopping, and going to head to the Burghley House Christmas fair this weekend. So just to get into that, that nice vibe, and I love seeing all the decorations and lights and things. So yeah, I've come to the George Hotel. George and I have come, so we're going to have just a cup of coffee and relax. And they always do wonderful Christmas decorations inside, really kind of in keeping with the age and the feel of the hotel, so that's also really nice. But it's when you've got these bright sunny mornings with a little bit of frost, you kind of really start to get into that vibe of the festive season, don't you? So actually just heading to the Burghley Christmas market on Saturday now rather than Friday, because we kind of got waylaid in Stamford doing various bits and pieces. So here on a really atmospheric and foggy Saturday morning. So I've just been to a little art exhibition that they're having at my local village hall, and I've just bought a little painting which is really nice, which is going to go into my office, because it still feels a little bit barren in there and a little bit like an empty shell. So I've spent this weekend being out and about and just doing things with George, and going to Stamford, to the Christmas market, to the art exhibition. And there are times where you have lots going on, but sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, and you just actually need to take a break from everything. And when you take a break from everything, sometimes you expand, your energy expands, and therefore you expand into the possibilities, you expand into the potential, and you expand into the opportunities. So I'm just out cycling and pushing through, actually, because it's been a couple of weeks and actually my legs are feeling it, and it's been a couple of weeks mainly because of the weather. I am a fair weather cycler. I'm not inclined to go out when it's pouring with rain, so I don't mind the cold, but actually a nice frosty bright afternoon like this is perfect. But actually, as I have stopped, I just wanted to say that there's a difference, isn't there, between stopping and pausing. And particularly if we go through changes or life changes or we change, we think we have to push through, and sometimes we do, but equally there are times when mentally and emotionally and physically we are so tired that if we do push through, we'll actually collapse and everything will stop. And sometimes we don't pause because we think that pausing is stopping, and we think if we stop we're doing the wrong thing, that we're not good enough. We berate ourselves, and sometimes actually it's all about our mental energy. So we can stop, and mentally we can stop, and things don't change. We don't quite go back to how things were because we can't, because in some way we have changed, but we can't move forward, or we can't allow the change in the way we should, so we stop. But mentally, you know, we can pause. And it really is just a mental difference. You know, when we're physically, mentally, emotionally tired, we can actually pause, and effectively we stop to regather our strength. But mentally, the difference is that we've paused, and we know that tomorrow or in a few hours or next week, we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to carry on. And it's that difference between knowing that you haven't stopped that actually also creates the energy of momentum. So rather than the energy of change stopping flowing, it just kind of goes in a little bit of a holding pattern, and there's a trigger in your mind and your energy that says, now I've got the strength just to push through that final barrier, that final hurdle. I can jump over it. And for me, taking some time out this past weekend was that pause. I just actually couldn't do any more without falling in a heap. So I just stopped. I went out to Stamford, to Burley, potted around, did some things that I enjoyed doing, that weren't work or change or mental change or emotional change or spiritual change engendered, and just enjoyed the moment. And that was the point for me where I regathered my energies, and now I can feel that shift in my energy where actually everything has changed. And I'm at that point now because of that actually I can't go back. I can't go back to a previous situation. I can't go back to the person I was. I can only move forward. And that is that shift within yourself that you feel, where maybe everything hasn't quite come to that new beginning feel that you anticipated, but you've gone far enough that you actually can no longer go back.